Hey everybody, it's Trags alongside Nick Quaglia of Red Sox coverage on CLNSmedia.com. We're outside Fenway Park. And Nick, obviously the trade deadline is something that's going to be on the minds of a lot of Red Sox fans as we look forward to the end of July and the last 2 months of the season. What do the Red Sox need to do in terms of addressing their needs? I think two things stand out, the bullpen and infield help.
First and foremost for me, it's absolutely going to be the bullpen. My number one target would definitely have to be Zach Britton, Baltimore Orioles. I mean, one thing with the Red Sox, let's go back to 2013 when they win the World Series. Something that they had that was noticeable was they had a dominant eighth inning guy, a dominant ninth inning guy with Koji Uehara. What you need right now is you see Tyler Thornburg coming back. We don't know what he's going to look like. He just came back after missing an entire season. Right. Now, if you're to get another guy like Zach Britton, we remember 2016, he was unbelievable in talks as a closer to win the Cy Young. He's had a tough go of it here and there this season, but he's given up 2 hits since late June.
Obviously, Tyler Thornburg is the kind of guy still feeling his way. And the thing with Tyler Thornburg, I think every Red Sox fan needs to know, and I think most do, is that you have to set the expectations at a reasonable level and not expect him to be the go-to guy right away in the 8th inning.
No, exactly. And if he figures it out, and if he starts getting better and better as we go, I mean, great. Great. And now you have, if you do make that move for a good end-of-the-game reliever, then you have Thornburg, who's also getting better, and you have that solid other arm that's coming in. Again, I think Zach Britton is kind of the obvious answer. You can probably get him for good value, too, because this is the end of the road for him with his contract. It's a 30-year-old man who you're not going to have to pay that much for him. I just think Zach Britton might be the easy answer for the Red Sox if you're going to add in that dominant 8th inning guy.
All right, throw me some more names. Brad Hand is one you hear a lot of. Yep. Cincinnati Reds just dealt 2 relievers to the LA Dodgers, but they're a bullpen that is certainly unheralded because they've been in last place for really the entire 2018 season in the NL Central. But they have some arms in their bullpen that could help out as well.
Yeah, and the only thing with trading for somebody like that is you don't know what the Red Sox are going to have to really give up for him, because we've seen what Dave Dombrowski's done with the farm system. Not saying it's a bad thing, because you've had to deal those big names to get big names like Chris Sale. You've had to deal your big prospects. So I don't know what the Red Sox would have to deal to get those solid relief pitchers that are probably going to cost a little bit more than somebody who's at the end of the road with their contract. And then if you want to even look at starting pitching too, it's the same thing. You don't know what you can get because you don't have as much as you used to in regards to trade bait to get those people.
Let's talk about the relievers the Red Sox do have. Craig Kimbrell is the shutdown closer that the Red Sox certainly can rely on, and there's no questions there. He is the guy. Joe Kelly, up and down. Before struggling the other night on Friday night against Toronto, he had 4 very good outings, but before that, he again struggled. He has been so up and down. And, you know, he still throws very hard, but you need consistency. You need reliability. You need guys that's not guys in that bullpen who are not going to walk batters. And my concern with guys like Joe Kelly, Heath Hembree, and Matt Barnes is you need more consistency out of that setup role.
Yeah, exactly. And that's why you have to make this kind of a move right now, because as good as the team's playing, obviously it's no secret the Red Sox are playing unbelievable baseball, especially as of late. But you're not going to make that noise in the postseason unless you have that consistency. Because if you have somebody, you could hope that come the playoffs, come the end of the season, these guys are playing lights out, but it's inconsistent. So you don't know if they're going to be playing like that. So you could send that guy out there in the 8th inning and get ready for, I don't know, you could be up 4 runs and then he could dump the game. So you have to make a move for a guy that you think can be consistent and hold that role for you.
All right. We've talked a lot about the bullpen because that would appear to be the #1 priority at the trade deadline. I don't think anybody would argue that. Middle infield and infield help and depth. I think that is an issue, if for only that the Red Sox need more bats in the lower half or the lower third of that lineup really to compete against the type of bullpens that they will face in the playoffs, namely the Indians and, of course, the New York Yankees. So with Dustin Pedroia's availability, certainly very questionable. He's probably gone for the rest of the year. I don't think that's a stretch to say at this point of July. What do the Red Sox do at the trade deadline to address their infield needs?
So you've heard the name Jed Lowry pop up multiple times now, and we remember here in Boston Jed Lowry. Jed Lowry came up and he made noise right away. But now you're going to have to make that move, especially to help the bottom half of the lineup, the bottom third of the lineup, too. And remember, you already made the move for Brandon Phillips, who's playing in Lowell right now.
Right.
And Brandon Phillips, last season, I don't know why he wasn't on another team, because last season he didn't have a down year. He batted around, I think it was 283. So he was a solid bat, and once he does make his way up here, which I assume he's going to make his way up here, obviously, he's going to help out the bottom third of that lineup. Now, if you want to make another move, again, I said Jed Lowry. I wish he would come here, but people are talking like Oakland's selling. Oakland's playing some really good baseball right now and has a really good shot at making that wild card round. So I don't know why they would sell. You also heard Adrian Beltre get linked to the Red Sox. He's not a middle infielder, but he's a veteran presence who also has been here in Boston, and he's already made it known he would like to win a ring, and he would like to play on a contending team right now, as at the end of his career. So I wouldn't hate the Red Sox giving up a little bit more to get that veteran presence in the infield and even help out Rafael Devers. Rafael Devers is still young. He doesn't need to be an everyday player right now. If you can get that veteran presence, kind of platoon them together, I think that would be a solid move for the Sox.
What about Scooter Gennett? He's leading the National League in hitting right now for the Cincinnati Reds. He has been part of their resurgence, and there are people in Cincinnati who say do not trade Scooter Gennett, but because of their logjam in the minor league system at that position, namely middle infield, there's thought that if you gave him the right package, namely pitching, Scooter Gennett could be had. I think, first of all, I don't know if the Red Sox have that kind of pitching.
Exactly.
Jalen Beeks right now, frankly, is not going to get it done for Scooter Gennett.
Absolutely not. And that goes back to what I was saying before. Like, what do the Red Sox have to make a move for a guy like that? Because he's one of the biggest names in the National League right now, especially to make that trade. So what could the Red Sox give up? You could say Jalen Beeks if they didn't bring him up here and watch him get shelled. I mean, I was at that game. It was horrible to watch. It was so hard to watch. That would be the name if they didn't bring him up to Boston and already kind of destroy his value for this season. That would be the name, like, sure, send him off. But what else do you really have right now? Michael Chavis just came back, but he's coming off of a PED suspension.
Right.
So what else do you have to make a move for a guy who's that valuable to the Cincinnati Reds?
All right, that'll wrap it up for this edition of Red Sox Beat here on CLNS Media. He is Nick Quaglia. I'm Mike Petralia, Trags. Follow us and follow our coverage of Red Sox on Twitter at Red Sox CLNS, and of course follow us on CLNS Media.